Today, let's talk about why your gut matters more in perimenopause than we ever knew. And stick around because at the end of this video, I'm going to share some simple things you can start doing to support your gut and why it matters for your symptoms. When you think about the health of your gut, you're probably thinking about bloating, constipation, and even heartburn that just seems to intensify as we hit this midlife age. But what if I told you your gut is also connected to things like brain fog, anxiety, and depression, mood changes, weight gain, fatigue, and even some of those cravings you have? So we grew up thinking the gut was pretty simple. You eat, it digests, you absorb the nutrients, and the rest gets pooped out, and that's it. But we're learning there's a whole other world there. There's trillions of microbes running things behind the scene. So there's bacteria, fungi, and tiny little organisms that are living in your gut, and they're forming this little ecosystem. And when the ecosystem is balanced, all those different microbes work together and everything is running great. But when one type starts to overgrow or certain ones die off, that whole system gets thrown out of whack, and that's when we start to have problems. So, did you know your gut and your brain are connected? They communicate through the vagus nerve, and the gut is often called the second brain. So, when they tell you listen to your gut, that's what you're doing is you're listening to that second brain. But if your gut isn't functioning well, that communication is going to be affected. Along with the brain, hormone balance is affected by your gut. It helps us process and eliminate hormones, including our estrogen. When that process gets disrupted, we feel it because if our estrogen is not being eliminated, it does affect us in many different ways. And another thing it affects, believe it or not, is your immune system. The majority of your immune system actually lives there in your gut. So when your gut's not doing great, it really does affect your health. So, in other words, what's happening in your gut does not stay in your gut. Now, let's talk about how this may affect your symptoms in perimenopause. That brain fog we have in perimenopause, you can blame your hormones. And while that's true, your gut has something to say about it too. So things that support a healthier gut often support a healthier brain too. And it's not just hormones that are affecting our anxiety, depression, and our mood swings. It's the gut because it helps regulate our mood. And when you're supporting your gut health, it can sometimes help you feel more emotionally resilient. Do you feel like you're doing all the right things? You're eating healthy, you're getting movement, you're sleeping well, but you still drag yourself through the day. Your gut may be playing a role in this. When it isn't functioning well, our nutrients aren't being absorbed as efficiently, which can leave us feeling drained no matter how much you try to do. So, improving your gut health sometimes leads to that increased energy. And did you know that the gut affects your appetite, your weight gain, and even your cravings? And it can influence things like blood sugar balance, even your hunger and fullness hormones. So when you find yourself craving more or struggling with the weight changes, something may be going on in your gut. So if you're ready to start supporting your gut health but feeling unsure where to begin, I love to start first with the diet, just a few small steps. And I use what I call the midlife plate. So, the midlife plate is about changing some of your eating habits and getting rid of more of the processed foods. Making half of your plate a non starchy vegetable, do a good quality protein, and you can do some whole grains or starchy vegetables and add in a little bit of those healthy fats there. So, a nice balanced plate is going to be a good step in moving forward. And if you want to know more about that midlife plate, check out my video, Dieting in Perimenopause for Weight Loss. And if you're really ready to start healing your gut, let's chat. And stick around because in the next video, we're going to take a closer look at the gut brain connection and what it might have to do with things like your anxiety, depression, mood, and brain fog. And remember, you get to do menopause your way.